Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 11, text number 31. Samyaccharosham bhadram te pratipam shreyasam param Shrutena bhuyasa rajan agadena yatamayam. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear King, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instruction. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj was a liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone. But because he was the ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. His brother Uttama was without fault, yet he was killed by one of the Yakshas. It was the duty of Dhruva Maharaj to kill the offender, life for life, because Dhruva was the king. When the challenge came, Dhruva Maharaj fought vehemently and punished the Yakshas sufficiently. But anger is such that if one increases it, it increases unlimitedly. In order that Dhruva Maharaj's kingly anger not exceeded the limit, Manu was kind enough to check his grandson. Dhruva Maharaj could understand the purpose of his grandfather, and he immediately stopped the fighting. The word Shrutena Bhuyasa, by constantly hearing, are very important in this verse. By constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. Srila Parikshit Maharaj said that constant hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is a panacea for all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium, and thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Dhruva Maharaj becoming angry with the miscreants was quite appropriate. There is a short story in this connection about the snake who became a devotee upon instruction by Narada, who instructed him not to bite anymore. Since ordinary snake's business is to fatally bite other living entities, as a devotee he was forbidden to do so. Unfortunately, people took advantage of this non-violence on the part of the snake, especially the children, who began to throw stones at him. He did not bite, however, because it was the instruction of his spiritual master. After a while, when the snake met his spiritual master, Narada, he complained, I have given up the habit of biting innocent living entities, but they are mistreating me by throwing stones at me. Upon hearing this, Narada Muni instructed him, don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you are going to bite. Then they will go away. Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics. But in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, a very important instruction is given by Swayambhuva Manu to Dhruva Maharaj. As to how his anger can be controlled. Often, situation triggers anger in us, and to what extent it should be controlled. Of course, it should be fully controlled. What extent one should be angry, for how long one should be angry. One should not lose one's intelligence or discrimination. Everything has its own use in the service of the Lord, whether it is anger or lust or greed. All of these things have their own role to play if utilized properly in service of the Lord. So Prabhupada is very beautifully explaining in this purport that yes, Dhruva Maharaj was angry, but the level of anger he did not control. One of the yakshas killed his brother Uttama, so he had every reason to get angry, but the anger could not have crossed to retaliate and kill all the yakshas. He set out to kill the entire race of yakshas. Therefore, Swayambhu Manu interrupted him and advised him, and this entire chapter is Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj. So, Krishna consciousness is, or the absolute consciousness of the living entity, is not impersonal consciousness. Impersonal means no desire, no anger, all these things that we see in the social intercourse between human beings, which we see in this world. The impersonalists have no explanation for it or utility for it, except saying that it is all just illusion. Person itself is illusion. So where is the question of the feelings being absolute? So that is their take, that as far as the soul is concerned, soul is nirguna, does not have any qualities. Especially so, only when person comes into picture, there are qualities. So those nirguna does not have any qualities, including individuality. All the personal traits, personhood features, thinking, feeling, willing, desiring, all these things are part of this material world. But actually we can see that even when the Lord incarnated means in this world itself, the Lord itself showed there is a place for all these things in eternal life too. Our Lord Narasimha expressed his anger in this material world in his incarnation. And here Prabhupada gives the story of Narada Rishi and the snake who was instructed not to bite anyone. But the snake took it as black and white instruction. So Prabhupada explains that Narada Rishi tells the snake that, look, I only told you not to bite, but you have got the quality to hiss, to become angry, hiss, raise the hood and show. So in the same way, God has given all these qualities. The problem is we cross the limit. That is where adharma comes. Anger. For every situation there is a measured anger in service of the Lord. Lust. There is a measured in what circumstances, in what situation. It can be part and parcel of Krishna's scheme of things. I am sex life according to regulative principles, Krishna says. So, that has a place. So generally we tend to think this is a general due to the impersonal influence, predominant influence. Spiritual life means no anger, no desires, no greed. But that is not the best as revealed by Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. He says control anger, control greed, control all these things. Control doesn't mean nullify. We cannot create an impression in our mind that anger is always bad. Just like if someone offends Krishna or his pure devotees, then we have to be angry. So what pleases Krishna absolutely is what determines what is right, what is wrong. So a person who understands the philosophy of personalism, that ultimately we are all persons and we all have personhood features, qualities, and that's what creates varieties in existence. Varieties of rasas. When one goes out of control and angry, he loses intelligence. So intelligence has to be maintained. This is the instruction for the devotee. This is the instruction to Dhruva Maharaj. Everything has to be measured. Punishment also has to be measured. That is fairness. If I cheat you, you have no license to do anything that you want with me. There are some things that you can do. Just like even in this material world, in the criminal procedure code, you see, it's so thick that book is. There are multiple sections under this section, punishment for this, all punishments are not same. Sometimes we see that when somebody does a mistake, then we pile up over him unlimitedly. One after the other, one after the other. Every mistake has a severity and has a punishment, a limit. This is a human being. Just because somebody did a mistake, you cannot go all over to deprecate him, to punish him beyond what his mistake is. One cannot take advantage of another person's mistake, even if one is an authority, to award a punishment, an unmeasured punishment. Because law of karma is like that. Law of karma is measured. Just like if I borrow 500 rupees from somebody, so I am obligated to give him back 500 plus my interest. Not that, oh, you have borrowed, come on, give me all your wealth. Isn't it? It doesn't work like that. In those things we are measured. So exactly in the same way, even if somebody wrongs us, there is a limit to which we can retire. In other words, human being has to have self-control. Without self-control, then one cannot handle all these different kinds of emotions. Possessiveness, greediness, all can be engaged in service of the Lord. Just like when we chant, doing japa, we can be greedy for more and more beats, more and more, for accumulating more and more beats of japa, more and more malas of japa. So greedily you can chant one bead after another bead after another bead, one more. Because it is an eternal credit to the soul. It's like a wealth. You are building up a wealth. What in the material world, greed means what? Today I have this much wealth, I want more wealth, I want more wealth, I want more wealth. Now the devotee every day is doing his japa, yes, I want one more mercy from the Lord, one more. In that spirit, if one goes on chanting, see, all his greed will get, material greed will get purified. In fact, our scriptures say that unless you are greedy for Krishna, you are never going to get Krishna. You have come to a stage, you have to come to a stage sometime where you have to feel so greedy. I want Krishna, I want Krishna. Only then there is a possibility that Krishna will reveal himself. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam sate bhajamyaham. So if we do not have that desire for seeing Krishna, hearing Krishna, then it is required. Greed is required. So we do not want to become impersonalist. These are all wonderful qualities of being a person. So when one is self-controlled, then he is a person who we say is a man of character. That he knows, I cannot let myself go uncontrolled manner against other living entities, in my relationship with other living entities. I have to respect other living entities. Nobody deserves, even if somebody he murders someone, still, even in the material world, they measure out and give him his punishment. And also we should understand that if somebody is wronging you, you cannot, there is an authority. Just like in the material world, if somebody does something, let's say somebody comes to your home and steals something. Of course, normal thing is to catch him and beat him up and all those things. But in the process of beating up, if something happens to him, even though he came to steal in your house, you will go to the jail. You see? So there is an authority system. So you have to go and give a police complaint and they will take care of it. You cannot take law into your own hands. Exactly in the same way, if somebody wrongs us, we cannot, taking law in one's own hand means doing whatever you want. He stole, come on, beat him. So many reasons will be there for him to steal. Maybe he was hungry, so he stole something from the kitchen. You are right and wrong man. Pakado isko, maro. So mind justifies. Ye galat kya, maro usko. So everything, our response should always be measured. That is the essence of this verse and the purport of Prabhupada is saying here. A mature person, measures out his anger, measures out his lust. Means there is a context in which lust can be engaged in Krishna's service. Yes, my connection with lust is that much. My connection with anger is this much. My connection with greed is this. And now, another important thing in this verse that is being pointed out, Swami Manu, is uncontrolled anger, when it comes, what do you do? So how to control the anger? Okay, I know the philosophy. I should not be angry. But your mind doesn't stop. You cannot even sleep. The mind is thinking. What to do to him, what to do to her. We all face this. Because in the material world, in different relationships, we see sometimes you are exploited, sometimes, something very unfair has been done to you. So your mind cannot stop. Yes, Swami Manu says, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as a medicinal treatment upon disease. Hear the instructions. The best thing is to hear Krishna Katha. Just switch over the subject itself. The word Shrutena Bhuyasa, by constantly hearing. Prabhupada says this word is very important. The best way to control the mind, when your mind is non-stop on a subject, whatever you do, you cannot take it out of the subject because of anger or frustration or whatever it is. The more you analyze, the more you intellectually try to resolve the situation in your mind, the more your mind runs haywire. Mind doesn't stop. There's a beautiful solution given here. We simply have to take Srila Prabhupada's book and read a few pages and switch over the subject. to transcendental subject. And best is, Krishna book. You take Krishna book and start reading. Otherwise, what is impossible by intellectually to analyze and control, very easily it can be controlled. Simply by reading or hearing, Shrutena Bhuesa, by hearing about devotional service, one can immediately check the force of anger. Not only anger, even lust. Very often, when you intellectually try to resolve a situation of anger, because anger is an emotion, when you try to resolve it intellectually, you get entangled more and more. Look like we become prisoners of that anger. Then you'll have to take sleeping tablets. Actually, simple solution, they go deep into it. So they get scared. My God, I'm not able to stop thinking. Then they take sleeping tablets. But the solution is not to analyze that more. The switch, because our mind has got that capacity to switch over to another thing. Just like, see, our mind has got the capacity, you are watching one television channel, one serial you are watching. Then you go to another YouTube and immediately you switch over. You are in another world. Then another YouTube thing, you go so easily. You're out of that world and you're in this world. You're out of this world and you're in this world. And that is what is being mentioned here. That when one comes uncontrollable anger, one simply have to hear about Krishna, change the subject matter, and then one will be able to handle anger with control. Narada Rishi is instructing the snake. Yes, don't forget your intelligence that I should not bite. Up to that, raise your hood and hiss and show anger. So that means, while the instruction is, when you are angry, don't lose your intelligence. It should be measured. Next, any question? Very practical instruction.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
You mentioned in the class about crossing the line. So I have one basic question. Living entity in the constitutional position, they are at the ego level or at the very fundamental level, or even we can say desire-wise, they are in line with the Lord, surrender to the Lord. But when it comes to the application of the desire, when we take that identity and we do the role play and we execute things, that time we independently apply our minds, and all of us have a different way of applying the same desire, maybe in a different way. So that independent characteristic, that faculty is there, which is part of the soul's personality. Now, can we say that same thing, when the jiva gets from his constitutional position, he goes out of the way, and that independent faculty is being misused, and he takes it even at the ego level also, he become not surrendered, not in line, and he takes the independent approach there. Is it can we say the crossing the line or the inappropriate execution of that independent faculty?
See, each one of us are individuals. See the varieties of our background karma. Each of us look different, each of us think differently, each of us feel differently. So that is the meaning of individuality. Our individuality has created this body. Our individuality. And it is Lord's creation, full of variegatedness. So different jivas are also having this individuality. Now individuality, differences due to individuality is different from independence. Independence is where you forget that you are under someone. I am a servant. If the attitude of expressing your individuality as a servant, if that attitude is not there, then it becomes independent. So it all depends on the attitude, on the bhavana. So obviously, it's very easy to confuse independence and individuality. So as long as you are having that attitude of following something, either what Prabhupada said or your authority said, it may be a variety exists. As you said, one desire, there may be 10 ways of doing it. All 10 ways may be pleasing to Krishna. So, now how to train this attitude of, how to ensure that the attitude of servitude is there in all our individuality? Individuality is a must, it should be there. But how to ensure that it doesn't turn into independence? Therefore, it is said that one has to go through initial process of cultivating the attitude of servitude, which is primary quality required to express one's individuality. So suppose a bhakta comes and he's just joined the movement, and if the authority says, do like this, everything he has his own way of doing it, then the authority will tell, hey, why? He may say, no, Prabhu, yes, I'm correct. This is better than that. That is better than that. Go on like that. So then he himself will be confused. What is wrong? I am doing something, I am giving better ways of doing things. Authority will tell, okay, wait few years. Learn first how to follow. In the process, develop servitude attitude. And then your individuality can come gradually. So what happens if one is expressing one's individuality with the contamination of independent bhavana? He will not develop his spiritual individuality. There will all be material individuality. Our individuality is rich. Each devotee's individuality is rich, very important in service of the Lord and Prabhupada. Very important. Variety is the spice of life. But that individuality should not become a material individuality. Sadhana bhakti means what is more important is to develop one's attitude of servitude. And once that attitude of servitude is there, then one can express one's individuality in one's service, It naturally comes. It's not that he has, oh, I have to be individualistic. No. Naturally, each of us are different. Each of our background is different. Our karma is different. We think differently. Any work for execution, we think differently. In fact, one should, if somebody is a leader, he should take all these, different approaches of different minds of the devotees. Their background is different, karma is different, their thinking is different, and bring them all to the common pool and try to do what is best for Prabhupada and Krishna. So this also is a quality that is required for people who are, where will I express my individuality? Offer your individuality in the pool. Let final decision be taken by whoever is supposed to take the decision. So you have individuality, at the same time you are ensuring that your independence nature is not. If you are only independent and individualistic, then you cannot be a team player at all. So if you have to work as a team, then you will have to balance these two things. Somebody is not having that independent attitude. His whole goal is how the job should be done well for Krishna. Then you will be surprised that how free from independence his individuality will manifest. Everyone's individuality will be appreciated. There is no ego there. His idea, my idea. It becomes highly synergetic. That means, super soul enters into the situation. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, my question is that each one of us, each devotee, there is my Guru and my Krishna wants Guru and Krishna wants me to be an instrument somewhere. So that is it pre-decided? So I wanted to understand more about this, Prabhu. Like some devotees may do some service, may not be able to do certain service, but because Guru Krishna has decided that you can be the best instrument here. So how to understand this more, Prabhu?
Now so what is the confusion?
The question is that Guru wants me to be the instrument somewhere. So how do I understand that, yes, this is what is right for me and this is what the Guru wants me to do and I am a right instrument?
Yeah, if you are not part of the system of the Vaishnavas, then you can be in perpetual confusion. What Guru and Krishna wants me to do. In this there are two aspects. First of all, there is an assumption that Guru and Krishna wants every moment something specifically that I should be doing as they wish that I should be doing. Right? You tend to think that now next, or you can say the best situation of devotional service is if I can, next moment, Guru and Krishna wants me to do something, I should be doing it. 10 minutes from now, Guru and Krishna wants me something very specific that I should be doing that. That itself is wrong. Because you cannot, then you are a robot. If every moment is like that, then you are a robot. Like sometimes devotees ask, These are all extremes. See, this extreme, that extreme, the solution is midway. Devotee asked Prabhupada, what does Krishna want me to do now? So Prabhupada said, Krishna is asking you back, what do you want to do for me now? Huh? We are persons. And not that Krishna is controlling. Pure devotion means controlling. You should be doing this, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. This is our Western education has made us think like that. Perfection means impersonal perception, zero confusion. There is no personal element there. So, that is one extreme. The other extreme is mindlessly, without thinking what could be pleasing to Guru and Krishna, you act. There may be, in a particular situation, there may be 50 ways in which Krishna will be satisfied. Guru and Krishna will be satisfied. 50 ways in which if you act. They're not rigid. Because existence is full of varieties, full of creativity. It can bring different results. So there is that individuality is also allowed. And not only allowed, it is appreciated by Krishna. Otherwise, where is the question of appreciating? Oh, this devotee has done this so nicely. Because there is some individuality there. There is appreciation. So, two extremes. Krishna wants exactly every moment how I should breathe, how I should think, what exactly I should be thinking, what exactly I should be feeling, what exactly I should be willing. It is not an artificial intelligence solution. So we have to understand the spirit of it. And that is practiced. In the Vaishnava community, it is practiced. And when we are in the beginning, see, very practical thing. When we are in the beginning of devotion service, this is also devotees, they say, new devotees say, Prabhu, how do I know what the authorities have told me is what Guru and Krishna wants me to do now? Because I see my authorities are not perfect. So then the devotee, he has no answer for it at all because he will be in perpetual confusion because we are all imperfect. Everybody has an authority, everybody is a follower. Isn't it? He is a follower of somebody. He has to follow his authority. That authority is a follower of somebody. And we all know, our spiritual master is a perfect authority. All others are shortfall of being perfect authority. They're short of being perfect authority. So how do I know now what my immediate authority is telling me? That this, for instance, let us say a trainer of assistant pujari. He is training the devotee, do like this. And the new devotee is saying, how do I know Prabhupada and Krishna wants me to do this right now in this way? Whether I should put this pot in this wash basin or it should put it in that wash basin. This is called analysis paralysis. Krishna, Prabhupada and Krishna's mind will be nothing. Krishna, if you go face to face to Prabhupada and Krishna, see, my immediate authority is saying, I'm really confused. I should do this one or that one. I should do this service or that service. Because I want to satisfy you. So Prabhupada will tell, See, you are a new bhakta. You do this service or that service. I am all happy, provided you learn how to be a servant. That is what Guru Krishna is looking. Here, sadhana bhakti means to how you are developing the attitude of servitude. That's what we learn first in practical devotion service. I am not very particular. This is not a factory where productivity is measured like that. Your performance is measured like that. Your performance is your attitude of servitude. That is what is most important in our practical service. Chanting is there, hearing, all those things are there, then we come to service. In service, the real result of practical service is not some great contribution to Prabhupada's movement. That is all done by Prabhupada and Krishna himself, by their Shakti. It is not to contribute to Prabhupada's preaching mission. That is not the primary for a sadhaka. Self-purification by means of developing the right attitude of service, without being independent, without sense of being the controller. How to control without the sense of control. In the material world, we have to control so many things, isn't it? Any work means we have to control. How to control without being in control bhavana, Ishvara bhavana. These are the things that in service we learn. We tend to forget that what Krishna is looking for. Krishna says, I am the ability in man. What is it you are thinking that I did some great service? I achieved this, I achieved this. Material world measures like that. But devotee never measures his performance like that. So he exactly knows. Bhavagrahi Janardana. My practical service, details of the service is meant for me to fine-tune my attitude of servitude. That is a spiritual reward from practical service that we get by serving Guru. And so very often, devotees also get misled in this. I have joined Prabhupada's movement to contribute something to Srila Prabhupada. As a neophyte, it's a very good attitude. Because in the outside world, he wants to do so many things. He says, okay. And then here you come, everything is very slow, assistant pujari, and 6 months ho gaya, 6 months, then something else, then go with shanti se ja raha hai. Outside world, all my friends are all doing startups and where they have reached. Here I have not even started. There you will start and you will end also. So you have to understand what is behind all this, exercise, sadhana. The real spiritual gift is waiting for a devotee. I have come here and if one is self-purification happens, then he can do 100 startups. Why only one startup? He can do 100 startups with a proper attitude. So develop the proper attitude of servitude is very important. Completely personality will change. That is the reason. Let's say a young CEO, he joins maybe 500 employees he was handling when he was 30 years old. He joins temple. Do we give him CEO service? No. He'll start with assistant pujari. Everything, one by one. The whole line of service where one learns dignity of all services. All devotional services are transcendental. Sweeping the floor, to washing the toilet, to cleaning the pots. Everywhere there is, because in the material world there is a different kind of a yardstick of measuring what is dignified service, what is not dignified service. First, the transcendental nature of all service the devotee has to understand. So therefore we take him through all those things. If you only think into productivity, you will say, oh, you are not engaging the devotee properly. He himself may come and say, you are not engaging me properly, Prabhu. I can do so many things. You are not engaging me properly. We all want to do for Prabhupada. I'm not so I am not being engaged. No doubt you can come and say that. Humbly you can say that. It will be taken into account. But you have to know the process. Why certain things are being done. We mold our consciousness into a devotee. Into devotee consciousness, not a karmi consciousness. Not a consciousness of, being like in the outside world, productivity. Therefore we see here, devotees are engaged, proper attitude they are being cultivated. And they are not driven by productivity. We are not. Just like this temple, when it came out, and sometimes some karmis, they have told, oh, so much money was collected, marketing. You must have had every week marketing meeting. And you would have kept targets for all of them. I said, no, not one devotee was given target. But still this temple was built. How much they should collect, where they should go, what they should do. No. They all voluntarily engaged in their devotion service and Krishna. So the result is produced by Krishna. In the outside world, if you want to build something like this, and from the market you have to get something, say money, then you will have to do what they said. Without that it happened. So it's devotional service. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. A jasmine flower is there. It gives a good fragrance. That is its feature, hereditary feature. Another flower is there. It gives bad smell. That is its hereditary feature. Similarly, an individual, generally we get resemblances from our forefathers. In the same way, angry is also a quality coming from our forefathers, by birth quality. Angry is not generated. If angry is generated by the individual, it can be controlled by him because he has generated it. When that feature is coming from the forefathers, by birth qualities, how to check it? How to put check to it, Prabhu? Because
the ability to be angry is coming from the forefathers. But to be angry or not, it is coming from you. Many things in our life, the ability or the propensity is, you can say, hereditary. This person's nature is always anger. Always angry. Yes, that means his background karma, hereditary live hereditary. You can say karma. Your mold is like that. But then in the human form of life, free will is given for him to change. So whether that influence, how he can, it's a combination of, you see, if there are two forces, opposite to each other. It's not one force. So there is one force from your hereditary or karma, you can say. Now you also have a current force. So net result is where this will move. Whichever force is more, right? Force A plus force B will be new force. Or A minus B will be new force. So we also have a free will and we also have an influence. You have to combine this. The end result is a combination of this. So one can control 100% if one has Krishna conscious intelligence driven free will. Free will has to be directed. Free will requires intelligence. Free will does not mean freely will. Huh? Means free will means I can intelligently will. That is free will. That freely will only one person can do. Krishna. We cannot imitate that. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।